You reach airport security with a normal bottle of water. It is sealed. It is harmless. But because the label says 500 milliliters, it goes into the bin. 2 minutes later, beyond the same checkpoint, you can buy another bottle and carry it onto the plane. That is objectively strange. Even stranger, an empty 500 milliliter bottle is usually fine. Toothpaste counts as a liquid. So does jam. A half-full 200 milliliter container can be rejected, while several 100 milliliter containers may pass. This is not really a rule about thirst. It is a rule built around one frightening problem. Airport scanners once could not reliably tell harmless liquids from dangerous ones. Most people guess the rule is about cabin pressure. Perhaps a large shampoo bottle might burst at altitude, creating the world's least glamorous emergency. That is not it. Commercial aircraft cabins are pressurized, and ordinary toiletries do not become uniquely dangerous because they are slightly larger than travel size. Another theory says airports confiscate your water so shops inside can sell an expensive replacement. The shops certainly benefit, and airport hydration can feel like evidence from a petty courtroom. But retailers did not invent the rule. It arrived suddenly across several countries after a real security investigation in Britain in August 2006. There is also a myth that 100 milliliters is a magical border. 99, harmless. 101, danger. Chemistry does not work like a nightclub door. The limit is a risk control number, used with a transparent bag, screening, intelligence, and other layers. To understand it, go back to when full-size drinks passed through security with little attention. Before 2006, airport security was mainly built to find familiar threats: guns, knives, and solid explosive devices. After the attacks of September 11, 2001, screening became stricter, but the basic checkpoint X-ray still had an important weakness. It could show the shape and density of objects inside a bag, yet it could not always identify exactly what substance was inside an ordinary-looking bottle. Two bottles can look almost identical on a screen, while containing different materials. A security officer cannot open and test every drink, lotion, perfume, soup, gel, and jar of honey, while thousands wait behind it. Airports needed speed. Attackers needed only one gap. In 2006, British police and MI5 were watching men in and around London and High Wycombe. The investigation became Operation Overt. One central figure was Abdullah Ahmed Ali. Investigators followed meetings, examined travel activity, and gathered evidence from an East London flat. What began as surveillance grew into one of Britain's largest counter-terrorism operations. The emerging plan was horrifyingly ordinary in appearance. The conspirators intended to hide dangerous liquid material inside containers resembling soft drinks, carry them aboard passenger aircraft, and attack transatlantic flights leaving Britain for North America. The danger was not a cartoon bottle marked explosive. It was a container that could look like something bought with a sandwich. Investigators saw the group studying flights and developing its plans. Authorities later said the conspiracy had reached an advanced stage. In September 2009, a jury convicted Ali, Asad Sarwar, and Tanvir Hussain of conspiring to murder passengers using liquid bombs aboard aircraft. The judge imposed life sentences. Police could not wait for a trial to know how the story ended. During the night of August 9th and morning of August 10th, 2006, officers raided locations in London, High Wycombe, and Birmingham. More than 20 people were arrested. Britain raised its terrorism threat level to critical, meaning officials believed an attack could be imminent. That morning, Home Secretary John Reid and Transport Secretary Douglas Alexander faced the public. Metropolitan Police Deputy Commissioner Paul Stevenson said authorities had disrupted a plan involving multiple aircraft. Airport officials had no time to design a neat response. The threat involved normal-looking containers carried by millions, So the first answer was blunt: stop almost everything. At British airports, passengers were initially allowed only a tiny range of essentials in the cabin. Liquids were broadly banned, with exceptions such as necessary medicine and infant food. Bags went into the hold. Flights were delayed or cancelled. Terminals filled with confused travelers holding passports and transparent bags, as though everyone had arrived for the world's least organized sleepover. The disruption was enormous. British Airways later told Parliament it cancelled 1,283 flights, affecting more than 100,000 passengers, and estimated the alert cost £40 million. Airport processing capacity fell by roughly 25 to 30%, and peak security waits doubled in many places. One hidden plot had rewritten the movement of an industry. The total ban was an emergency measure, not a practical permanent system. On August 14th, Britain allowed one small cabin bag again, but liquids and gels remained excluded. Officials, airports, airlines, and scientists faced a hard question. How do you let people carry medicine, toothpaste, and baby food without restoring the weakness the plot exposed? The answer was quantity limits plus visibility. On November 3, 2006, Britain ended the complete carry-on liquid ban and allowed containers no larger than 100 milliliters. They had to fit inside one transparent, resealable bag holding no more than 1 liter. The United States adopted a similar system in September and branded it 311, small containers, 1 quart-sized bag, 1 bag per passenger. Here is an odd detail. America's 3.4-ounce limit is a metric rule wearing an imperial costume. 100 milliliters equals about 3.38 U.S. fluid ounces, rounded to 3.4. The number was not chosen because scientists found a special property of 3.4 ounces. It was a conversion that made an international rule easier to follow. Why limit both the bottle and the total bag? Because security works by reducing possibilities. Smaller containers restrict the unknown material in one package. A clear bag limits how many containers you bring and lets officers inspect them quickly. The system does not make danger impossible. It makes a concealed liquid attack harder to organize and easier to notice. This is why a 200 milliliter bottle containing only 20 milliliters may still be rejected. The officer cannot trust every estimate, and the rule is based on the container's capacity. Standard rules are faster than hundreds of arguments beginning. Honestly, there's barely anything left. Airport security is partly preventing danger and partly keeping the queue moving. Why do toothpaste, yogurt, mascara, peanut butter, and jam count? The formal category is liquids, aerosols, and gels, shortened to LAGs. Dangerous material does not have to splash like water. A paste or gel can also hide what a basic scanner cannot identify. The rule follows consistency, not what you personally consider a beverage. Now consider the airport water paradox. Why can you buy a large drink after security? Because it entered through a controlled supply chain rather than a passenger's bag. Airport goods and deliveries follow separate screening procedures. The system has more information about where that bottle came from. Your outside bottle may be equally innocent, but the checkpoint cannot know quickly. The empty bottle is allowed for the same reason. The problem is the unknown substance, not the plastic shell. You can carry the empty container through, fill it at a water station, and board. It feels like a loophole, but it is the rule working as designed. Control what crosses the checkpoint, not water added inside the secure area. There are exceptions, because life refuses to fit into a 1-liter bag. Essential medicines, baby milk, baby food, and special dietary liquids may be allowed in larger quantities with extra screening. Duty-free liquids can often travel in sealed, tamper-evident bags with the receipt visible. These are controlled exceptions built around need and traceability. The liquid limit shows something important. No single checkpoint rule carries the whole burden. Intelligence stopped the 2006 plot before passengers reached an aircraft. Screening rules reduced the chance of a similar attempt succeeding later. Passenger checks, staff controls, baggage systems, watch lists, trained officers, and scanners overlap. The small bottle is one visible tile in a larger mosaic. Over time, that tile changed ordinary life. Travel-sized toiletries became a permanent retail category. Clear toiletry bags appeared in supermarkets and luggage stores. Hotels, cosmetic brands, and pharmacies adjusted packaging. Millions of travelers learned that moisturizer has an airport identity separate from its normal identity. A security response became a design standard for bathroom shelves. It changed airports too. Checkpoints needed more tables, trays, bins, staff, signs, and space for passengers to unpack and repack. Transfers became confusing because rules differed. A bottle accepted at departure might become a problem during a connection. Security policy was no longer hidden behind the scenes. It shaped the physical design of terminals. The rules spread because aviation depends on shared expectations. A flight leaves one country, lands in another, and may carry transfer passengers onward to a third. Different limits create gaps and chaos, so governments moved toward the 100-milliliter container and 1-liter bag model. A police operation centered in Britain changed packing habits from Colombo to Copenhagen. It also pushed scanner technology forward. Newer checkpoint machines use computed tomography, or CT, to build a three-dimensional view of a bag and help software analyze its contents. Think of it as the difference between one flat shadow and a detailed model you can rotate. Where approved systems are in place, some airports now allow containers as large as 2 liters, but the transition is uneven. One airport may have newer machines, while your return airport does not. Some still require the clear bag, others let liquids remain packed. So the safest advice remains annoyingly unromantic. Check every airport on your route. The old rule is becoming a technology problem rather than a universal truth, but it has not disappeared everywhere. So why can't you bring a large bottle through airport security? Because in 2006, investigators uncovered a plan to disguise dangerous liquid material as ordinary drinks, and the scanners of the time could not reliably tell the difference. The 100-milliliter rule was the fast compromise. Limit the unknown quantity, display it clearly, and keep millions moving. That bottle in the bin is not there because water behaves strangely in the sky, and 100 milliliters is not a magic safety spell. It is a 20-year-old time capsule from a specific plot, preserved in plastic bags and tiny shampoo bottles. But if you think that is weird, wait until you hear why your laptop sometimes still needs a private tray at airport security.